I think Williams Grove is really tough to master and figure out because it's just such a unique facility. It is just a tricky track. You know, you think, I got this place figured out, and you go back the next time, you're like, man, I don't know what I needed in the feature to be better.
You know, I didn't even really know what to tell him. You know, I kind of, told him you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Well, I don't know that you can come right out and tell someone exactly what it is about Williams Grove as to how you get around there. I mean, it's a very unique place. I recall going there in '97 for the first time, and it's always had this history, and growing up in North Dakota, I never got to see it. So my first trip there was racing, and we obviously didn't have streaming service back then. We didn't have all this TV, so walking in the gate there, you look at it, it's like a paperclip. It's a great big racetrack with tight corners, and as a young guy, you're just throw everything at it, run her in there wide open. But I think that's the thing that probably gets you in the most trouble at Williams Grove is overdriving the corners.
Long straightaways, tight corners, and I mean you're building up so much speed to get it through the corner, and both ends are different. That's the whole thing. 3 and 4 is a whole lot tighter than 1 and 2 is, and it definitely is challenging.
I'm still trying to figure out a lot of it, but I think just the shape of it's just, first and foremost, just super unique. It's crazy going down a straightaway that long, wide open for that long, and then having it turn into a hairpin corner almost, and pretty much still not lift, at least when the track's really good, is just hard to explain, but it's damn cool.
It's tricky. You have to drive it so deep to keep your corner speed, but you gotta be right. You gotta be right for the exit. So it's really hard. I think that's why so many people struggle there right off the bat. Is because it's two different corners, right? So 3 and 4 is a lot sharper than 1 and 2, and you can carry more speed through 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 is where you gotta be right, and you gotta get off of 4 to make it down the long straightaway.
The biggest issue for me at Williams Grove that makes Williams Grove tough is getting your car to rotate on the exit of the corners. I've struggled with it for years and finally got our first win, but I feel like a lot of cars can get to the center of the corner. Like I said, it's long straightaway, you're carrying a lot of speed, and you got to try to make the thing stick, from the entry to apex, and when you get back on the gas, getting the car to rotate on the exit of the corner. Lots of times it wants to drive the left rear, drive it to the outside guardrail, and if you have to let off and maybe drag the brake to get the car to turn, you scrub a lot of speed.
I think 1 is figuring the track out. Obviously, 1 and 2, it's either, I feel like, rip the top or roll the bottom, and 3 and 4, I think you can rip the top, roll the bottom, or throw a slider line in 3 and 4, and that's what the locals have figured out. They have it figured out how they can slow that track down and be really smooth in the corners and just get down the straightaways. And
as a driver, you can have a driver that likes his right front 2 foot in the air. You can have a driver that likes his right front plugged in the racetrack. And because you're slowing down going in the corner and there's an accel decel, you can race and have your car a bunch of different ways where it's probably not that way on more of a circular track, that because you can make the wing work for you so much differently at different parts of the racetrack. But I remember going there 15 years ago, and same thing, the right front was off the ground, but what steers you is the right front. So if that thing's in the air going in the corner, you better get it back on the ground. So there's always this dynamic of how you go about it.
You adapt there the more you get to race there during the year, but some of those local guys love that right front flying in the air, and I don't like that, because for me to get in the corner, I have to set that right front down before I get into the corner. That means you gotta get off the gas or enter the corner not as hard as you want to. And then you snap the car and you overcorrect and turn the car and lose the right rear. So definitely trying to keep the car level is very important, and be able to trail brake a lot there and keep the car loaded left. And you don't want to be stood up and have the left rear up out of the racetrack. So
you can get close on the setup or close to where you want your car to be, and maybe you can, a driver can fix it in just his driving style or anything like that. But Williams Grove, if you're off just a little bit, it makes the race car very irritating, or maybe not, I won't say not so fun to drive, I'm looking for the right word, but it's more finicky as far as getting the car right and feeling comfortable at Williams Grove.
Selzy out of turn 4. He'll win his first ever 410 start at Williams Grove.
You know, I think one thing that upsets me the most about that place is I haven't won there since. You know, I've run second there a handful of times, run third there, and just have struggled to kind of break through to lead laps there. I don't know if I've led any laps really since I won, so.
Carson Macedo will hang on and win the Williams Grove National Open.
You know, Williams Grove was one of the toughest tracks for me to figure out. I remember leaving Williams Grove wishing that we would never have to go back. And, you know, now with Philip and JJR and just our package and my, you know, dynamic of learning at that place over the years, I feel like it's one of the places that I actually look forward to going to, because I do feel like if you're good at Williams Grove, you can really separate yourself and have a lot of good runs on the World of Outlaw Tour.
And down to his first ever Williams Grove Speedway win, Sheldon Hodenshield wins night 1 of the Champion Oil Summer Nationals.
You know, to have success with Outlaws at Williams Grove is pretty awesome. Not a lot of even full-time Outlaws can win there or have wins there. And
I actually had this mentality. I hated it. I never did good there. I couldn't hardly make the feature. Just had this bad vibe about Williams Grove. In fact, I think a couple times I probably made the comments that this place would be perfect if they filled it with water and tested bass boats in it. You're not going to do anything unless you respect the racetrack, you respect the equipment, you respect all these things. And it kind of has been a turning point for me at that place. Now, when I go there, I feel like it's, you know, as a driver, you do little things like back your entry up, or you know what you can get out of the car here and there, because it's all about how much speed you carry through the corner. And man, you can carry a lot through there, but that don't mean you're going to come out the other end that way. So it's a very humbling place. And then when you throw in the changing track conditions and all the other things, you know, it's ever changing at the same time. So it's very tricky, but it's also one of those places that's probably the most rewarding at the end of the day when you do accomplish what you want to do there.
Trying to wave at them guys in the infield at turn 3, they told me that I sucked before the race started, so I figured I'd remind them that before that race I was the only 5-time national champion. Now it's 6, so thank you guys for the motivation in turn 3. That's just what I needed.